Think I'm live. Am I live? I think I'm live. Think I'm live. Yeah. The thing says I'm live. Here we go. Mean, awesome. G'day. How's it going? It's your butt rad gendered baby. I got this cool shirt from a friend of mine. I helped record some guitar on one of their albums, and so they gave me this great shirt. I got this cryptic message being like, "Yo, what size shirt do you, and what color do you like?" And I went, "Purple, obviously." And reasonably large person. So yeah, that's my shirt. Bunch to talk about today. I've continued my appeals to Twitter. It's kind of funny because so I've been trying to like space them out because I didn't want, like, maybe I thought that if I was seeing them all the time, the same person would be reviewing them or something or other. So that if I left it for a little while, someone else might come along and be like, oh, that sounds reasonable, and then hit the bat. But so I sent in a new one this morning and like almost immediately got a reply saying sorry, hasn't done it. And so then I replied pretty much. I did another one being like, hi, could you, like, just a really simple one? And then they responded really quickly again. And so I responded one more time being like, hi, I can tell by your quick responses that someone's actually paying attention to me here. Could we maybe have a conversation rather than you just sending like a copy and pasted response? But, who knows? So it's Twitter's fault that I'm here, so I can continue to laugh at dumb tweets um, on here rather than on the Twitter. Uh, so that's what I'm doing today. So the first thing, first thing I saw, again, it's not a tweet, it's a thing, but people have tweeted about it. So I'm going to. I saw about this a while back, like even before I kind of went viral on Twitter. I saw that there was a school in Florida. I'll bring up the thing. Here we go. Transition. Transition to different. No, that's not what I want. My camera freezes every friggin' time. What is wrong with you? No, stop. There. Get like this, like that. There we go. I'm back, baby. Florida principal resigns after parents decry Michelangelo David as pornography. Oh, jeez, man. Just like this is the result of their bullshit, like, tirade against anything. I hesitate to say sexual because it's not sexual. It's obviously not. But like nudity at all, or the human body, or sex education. Like these people, there's constantly parents complaining about there being pornography in schools or in books or whatever, when it's just sex education. It's talking to young people about sex and making it um, something that's not taboo, which is good because otherwise you get weirdo, sex deprived, repressed perverts. That you get from fundamentalist Christian things. A little bit on that later. um, I just saw this article is 1 month old. Which, yeah, like I said, I'd heard about this a while ago. My dad came to me this morning and was like, "Yo, did you hear about how this principal resigned over David?" And I was like, "Lol, that's hilarious." Now, one of the other reasons I wanted to bring this up. So yeah, it's fucking dumb. It's like parents seeing, and I wonder about it because I'm like, do they not know what Michelangelo's David is? Like, do they? Because if they don't know, then I can see how they could see it and be like, it's a naked man, and therefore that's bad for my kids or whatever. But like, if they did know, it seems very odd and at odds with the kind of conservative, fascistic ideology, which opines for this older. I talked about this the other day. These accounts which are dedicated to like looking at like old artwork and sculptures and stuff and being like, why don't people create art like this now? Uh, and in fact, I got this. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this Mr. End Wokeness. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? End Wokeness. Here we go. I might just need to enable a different. Give me a second. Give me a second. Add window capture. Window capture. Photos. 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 Does that work? I hope that works because that's what I want. It's not working. Shoot. What if I go? Sorry, I'm just kind of getting the flow here. Screen capture and then bring this up like this. Hopefully that works. So this was a tweet here by Mr. End Wokeness, my good friend, who, funnily enough, tweeted out the other day about how he'd been blocked by Lizzo, being like, "Is it something I said?" Which is funny because he blocked me for something I said. But anyway, this was a tweet. I talked about this the other day. In fact, this this opining for old artwork and being like, this is extremist and this is normal, and so the normal thing being the this the statue of a person who's got both male and female anatomy, which interesting, thought provoking, but it's funny because the ideology of these people, the end wokeness kinds of people, is what has led to the banning of Michelangelo's David, which is the thing they want, which is the quote unquote normal thing, the artwork that they. So I was trying to figure out how to like put that into this meme, which they've done, which is um, uh, because they're playing on some irony here. That's the point. I mean, so it's kind of hard. I was trying to think of a way to put Michelangelo's David into this meme, to make fun of their ridiculousness. But anyway, you see the point. They opine for this old style of artwork, blah 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 blah, statues, da dee 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 dee. Um, but also, um, what's the word? Advocate for these kinds of for this ideology, which wants to censor this kinds of stuff. Yeah, I understand. You get it. You get it. I just thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my. I'm going to get rid of that. Doink. I don't even think the picture came up. It's kind of hard to tell with my thingy here. Anyway, so that was very funny. Turns out I can't show you the pictures on this thing, which is annoying. But anyway, let's go to next on the agenda. This was the thing that I thought about yesterday, which made me want to talk. So I'm just gonna see if I can't make this a little bigger. A little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. Window capture. So as you'll see, this this was posted on the Jordan Peterson subreddit. You can see that down there. Let's just do that. There we go. Can you see that? That's good. Cool. We've got it. Okay. So this is a quote tweet from Mr. Elon Musk, owner of Twitter, censorer of me. Very disappointed by his lack of valuing of free speech. But anyway, this is a tweet by Mr. Elon Musk. Now, I believe it was in response to some other stuff, some other tweets. There was a Zuby tweet there talking about transition and how it's bad. I mean, this is half the thing of these transphobes is they talk about they want you to believe that any kind of gender affirming care is evil and bad and wrong. And so this particular study, this is one that came up a lot when I was arguing with transphobes, was the Swedish study, which apparently proves that gender affirming care, transition, things like this, are bad for you because they increase the amount of suicidal ideation. I think that's the point they're trying to make. It's bullshit, but get to that in a second. So here we go. The Swedish study says that sex reassigned transsexual persons of both genders had approximately 3 times higher risk of all-cause mortality than controls. If we take as given that the other study, 2 to 3 times suicidal rate, is correct, Then doing surgery or chemical sterilization on minors gains nothing in reduced mortality. My position is simply that we should wait until the individual is mature enough to make their own decisions before other adults make permanent serious physical changes to them. The counter to my position would be that if we don't make the changes, then when they're a minor, then they'll never reach adulthood due to suicide. However, the counter-argument does not hold water if mortality is essentially unchanged, which it is. By the way, hi Jordan. Hi. Thanks for joining. By the way, I regard cisgender as a slur. So there's so much to talk about here. First of all, Elon Musk's wife, Grimes, left him for a trans woman. So there's that. Second of all, Elon Musk has a trans daughter who disowned him because he's awful. So I mean, I'm sure that none of that has anything to do with his immense transphobia. But, you know, I just thought I'd put that out there. So that is what he's saying. He's saying that any kind of transitional surgery or gender affirming care or any of that sort of stuff doesn't have an effect on the suicidal ideation of trans people. They are just they're just predisposed. They're biologically predisposed to suicide, I suppose. I don't know. I don't really understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I suppose if you believe that being trans is a choice and it's just something that you're choosing to do. No, but then it's still is like, you know, like it's like I can't, like, how, like, I don't understand. Sorry, I'm just trying to process this in the moment, because, like, how do how is someone like predisposed to be suicidal without, like, external factors? Because, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic here. I'm just trying to process what the hell he's trying to say. He is trying to say that trans people are predisposed to be suicidal, and doing anything to affirm their gender or support them in any way doesn't make any difference. Therefore, you know, we shouldn't be doing these things to kids, because if we do, you know, we might be we're doing something that doesn't have any effect on how suicidal they might be, and it runs the risk of them not actually being trans, or something. It's very odd. Also, it implies that the kids have no agency in this. It's someone. It's the doctors or the parents or something or other doing this to kids, which is kind of funny, because whenever it's like parents who are upset that their kids are trans, the right's always like, yes, we need to stand up for the parents, give the parents the choice to force their children to not be trans. But if the parent decides or wants to support the child, then they're an evil grooming molester, apparently. It's very difficult to get my head around, because I don't understand. Anyway, it's difficult to understand, not because it's what's the word? You know, it's not, what's the word? It's not like a smart intellectual complex thing. It's just stupid. It's very, very stupid, and that is difficult for me to wrap my head around. Anyway, okay, so I wanted to go real quick to, I mean, the question I would ask Elon here is, why are trans people more suicidally prone? And a quick Google search will tell us there's many studies out there, that give us reasons for why trans people are have a higher rate of suicidal ideation. I probably should have put a trigger warning at the beginning of this, because, you know, talk of suicide and all that sort of stuff. But here we go. So this is the factors associated with suicide attempts among Australian transgender adults. Basically, suicidality is associated with desiring gender-affirming surgery in the future, gender-based victimization, and institutionalized sexism. Interventions to increase social inclusion, reduce transphobia, and enable access to gender-affirming care, particularly surgical interventions, are potential areas of intervention. So, be nice to be good. No, I've friggin' put this off the side, haven't I? So, um, reduction of transphobia, reduction of discrimination, providing access to gender-affirming care, surgical interventions, and things like that helps reduce suicidal stuff. Turns out that being an asshole to trans people, introducing laws that discriminate against trans people, can be pretty mentally taxing on trans people. Who knew? Mr. Big Brained Smart Man from fucking. Hold on, give me a second. I just realized that that's not the right size. There we go. Transition. There we go. Right, next one. I found a bunch of these. They're pretty easy to find. What's next? Here we go. Unique risk factors. In addition to general risk factors, transgender people have additional risk factors such as experiences of discrimination, stigma, family rejection, and lack of access to gender-affirming healthcare. Findings regarding these unique factors include the following. And then there's a big list of ways in which transgender people are discriminated against, excluded, face stigma, rejection, da 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 da. These are the things. They are societal pressures. Societal discrimination, personal discrimination. This talks about like spouses and stuff rejecting them, religious communities rejecting them, experiences of violence. Those who detransitioned at some point, meaning having gone back to living according to the sex assigned at birth, were significantly more likely to report suicide thoughts and attempts both past year and lifetime than those who have never detransitioned. Nearly 12% of those who detransitioned attempted suicide in the past year, compared to 6.7% of those who had not detransitioned. Which is weird. I mean, these people seem to care so much about the suicidality of trans people, but they also advocate for detransitioners. They're always propping up detransitioners, people who need to, these are the ones that we need to listen to because they've been taken advantage of by the system. But they don't mention that they actually face detransitioning. Probably because they've been forced to detransition because of the societal pressures, the stigmas, the family rejection, violence, all that sort of stuff. They found that their experience as an out trans person was actually more difficult, and so they detransitioned. It didn't stop the dysphoria or whatever, and thoughts of suicide still there. Funnily bad. Oh god, it's so much. Okay, so anyway, the point is, what do we got here? There's another one. Okay, study builds on the existing research that has already demonstrated that transition-related regret is extremely rare. That puberty blockers and gender-affirming hormones are safe and effective, and that gender-affirming care improves outcomes across the board for young people. We also know that alongside proper medication, social support is one of the strongest predictors of positive mental health outcomes for LGBTQ youth. See that? See that? Social support is one of the strongest predictors for positive mental health for the outcomes for LGBTQ youth. Who knew? That's crazy. I couldn't have predicted that. Who could have known that would be the case? Take note, Elon Musk, because that thing there, that is what the problem is. You're part of the problem. You're part of the people who are creating this societal stigma. You, as a person with a huge platform, big influence, spreading these ideas, perpetuating misinformation and discrimination toward trans people, are part of this problem. Suicidal ideation is substantially higher among trans and non-binary young people in particular, but is significantly reduced with parental acceptance and peer support. There you go. Simple as that. Be nice to trans people. Current, uh, the current political um, and societal situation, climate, is really hostile towards trans people. They're introducing all the, the GOP in America introducing myriads of anti-trans legislation. You've got all of these pundits and bigots like libs of TikTok, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, everyone at the Daily Wire, really, Stephen Crowder, all these kinds of people who push this gross groomer narrative thing about trans people, trying to stop people from accessing gender health care, calling anyone who's trans or LGBTQ a groomer or a pedophile or a predator, all that kind of stuff, creating this environment of discrimination towards trans people that they care so much about because their suicide ideation is so high. It's just over the and then it's because of them. It's because of them. It's because of Elon Musk. It's because of Matt Walsh. It's because of libs of TikTok. It's because of the GOP. It's because of religious bigots and people who continue to perpetuate violence and discrimination towards trans people that they face higher levels of mental health risk and suicidal ideation. Who knew? It baffles me. How could anyone have predicted this? Whew. So, Elon Musk, delete your account. You fucking moron. You absolute carrot. I just can't with these people. It's just absolute nonsense. You just okay. And also, by the way, at the end of that, he says he says that cisgender is a slur. I contend that cisgender is a slur. Let's look up the definition of slur. Slur: an insulting or disparaging remark or innuendo, a shaming or degrading effect, a blurred spot in a printed matter. Okay, so that's like um, but it's so cisgender is an insulting or disparaging remark. Yeah, I agree. I agree. No one should be cis. If you're gonna, if you hey you cis, meh, fucking cis. It should be insulting. It's insulting to be a cis person, to be called a cis person. How insulting! How dare you call me the thing? That I align with the gender that I was assigned at birth. How dare you? I agree. It should be an insult. You should feel insulted because that's boring. That's fucking boring. Don't be cis. Be trans. Be LGBTQ. Be gender non-conforming. It's fun. Be rad gendered. Anyway, moving on from Mr. Elon fucking Musk. Oh no, there was a couple more things I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, so this there was I thought this response was pretty good as well. So here we go. Let's move this over a little bit so you can see it. Do these people not get that puberty also causes permanent changes? Forcing a trans adolescent to go through hard to say. Forcing a trans adolescent to go through puberty as the wrong gender is also permanent physical change forced on them by adults. That's why the current standard for care is blocking puberty for a few years so that no permanent change happens until they're old enough to have demonstrated a stable gender identity and make the adult decision. Exactly. Puberty blockers do that. They block puberty so that you don't go through all the permanent changes that come along with puberty. Going through a cisgendered puberty, something that can create, bad mental health outcomes for someone who is trans. If you are forced to go through a puberty that does not align with your understood gender, so you can put it on hold for a little while just so that when as you get older, you go, oh, okay, maybe I am not trans, but it was good that I took that step to wait for a little bit, and then off we go. Puberty resumes. Or, oh no, I am actually trans. Good to know. Now we can go ahead and do the more permanent stuff because I do know that I'm trans because I've taken 2 or 3 years to. So people should be advocating for this stuff, but there's a lot of rhetoric going around about how puberty blockers are bad and evil and permanent and can sterilize you and all that sort of shit as well. This is all part of Matt Walsh and Libs of TikTok's nonsense too. They try to disparage the efficacy and the safety of puberty blockers as well, because they just hate trans people. That's all they do. They hate trans people, and they oppose anything that would help trans people live fulfilling, comfortable lives. That's it. Anything that's going to help or support trans people, they will oppose that. They want trans people to commit suicide. They want trans people dead. Matt Walsh wants trans people dead. Libs of TikTok wants trans people dead. Ben Shapiro wants trans people dead. That's what they want. They wouldn't say that out loud, so they have to use all these euphemisms and all these other things to try and prevent any kind of care that would enable trans people to live fulfilling and safe lives. But that's what they want in the end. That's their goal. Cool. Fun times. Love a little bit of talk about fucking genocide. Anyway, let's go ahead and move this. Transition. That's funny. There was something. Let's have a look. I don't want to do that right now. I wanted to look at Ollie London a little bit, just real quick. A little bit of Ollie, my good friend Mr. London. I'm just concerned that that people are going to come home and start like talking over top of me and using the kitchen and shit like that. So I'm continually looking over my shoulder, being like, "Are people home?" Currently home alone at the moment, but with the puppy. Look, Uzi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Okay, you can go back to sleep now. Go down here. Okay, Mr. Ollie London. This is Chalice Blythe of the Satanic Temple, who was destroying a Bible, capital letters Bible. She also ripped up the American flag for Blue Lives Matter. She also hates America and is pictured standing on top of an American flag. Will she be charged with a hate crime against the Christian community? Or, because she is from a minority group, will she be free to continue to violate the Christian community? Ollie is very upset about this woman, or this person. Sorry, I'm not really sure what their identity they identify as, so I'm just I'll go with they. But they're very upset at this person who's part of the Satanic Temple, destroying a Bible, ripping up a Blue Lives Matter flag. Here we go. Here's the results here. Satanists today destroyed a copy of the Bible, and the American flag for Blue Lives Matter, the flag for law enforcement officers. This happened in Boston. The person who did this, Chalice Blythe of the Satanic Temple, said this was to destroy their symbols of oppression. Makes sense. And here's a video of them ripping up the Blue Lives Matter flag. There you go. Waha! In Boston today. So, Ollie is very upset by the fact that they ripped up a Bible and the fact that they ripped up a Blue Lives Matter flag, and thinks that they should be charged with a hate crime against the Christian community. Why? First of all, Blue Lives Matter is a reactionary movement against Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter came about as a protest and a movement against the systemic injustices brought against Black Americans, namely the continual murder of them by police officers in America, without consequence. They, Black people continue to suffer at the hands of police officers murdering them with impunity. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. Saying that, actually, maybe we shouldn't put up with a system that continually murders Black people and gets away with it. Maybe because Black Lives Matter. That's what we're saying. Black Lives Matter. And in response to that, there was a couple. There's the All Lives Matter, there's White Lives Matter, and there's Blue Lives Matter. White Lives Matter, white supremacy, Nazis. Fuck those guys. All Lives Matter is kind of tangential to that. where you're saying, yeah, but all lives matter. Yeah, but what we're saying here is we need to focus on this specific issue. It's not saying that all lives don't matter. It's just saying that black lives also matter. Just so you know, which, according to the American police and the American, situation, they don't. So maybe they should. That's what Black Lives Matter means. Blue Lives Matter, similar situation, but again, I feel like it's such a bizarre thing for someone to do, to hear, hey, we should do something about this, systemic murder of lynching of black people by this system, this police system, which is we should do something about that. And the response is to go, oh yeah, but what about, it's whataboutism. It's that's exactly what it is, whataboutism, because supposedly it's to grieve for the policemen who die in the line of duty. Whoa, wow, who wants to think about the policemen? Wow. So obviously it's a tragedy when anyone dies. Um, I've got particular thoughts about cops in general, and their role within the capitalist society, and their role as the enforcers of looking after capital as opposed to people's lives. But that's beside the point. I think the point is that um, you can take off your cop uniform. You can, at the end of the day, you can take off the blue and you're just a person. Black people can't do that with their skin. And the reason they are continually murdered and oppressed in American society is because of the color of their skin. And they can't take that off. Cops can. So the the core of the movement of Blue Lives Matter is it's fundamentally flawed, is what I'm getting at. But with these lot, what I think they're saying, I mean, it says here that they ripped up this Bible and they ripped up the Blue Lives Matter flag to oppose the oppression that they represent. And yeah, um, cops represent an enforcement of a capitalist system. That's what they're there for. So they're opposing that. And then the Bible represents at its worst, like a fundamentalist mindset that indoctrinates people, indoctrinates children through their religious ideology to oppress women, to oppress trans people, to oppress gay people, to oppress all kinds of minorities um, in the name of this kind of transcendent God thing. But it does represent an oppressive system, and it is embedded in the American institution into the U.S. Government because of all the religious fundamentalists who operate within that system and shape that space. And so much of the American law system, government system, all that sort of stuff is founded upon this oppressive ideology, and these people oppose that. Um, Good. That's not a hate crime against Christians. Um, Also, a hate crime against Christians. What the fuck are you talking about? That's just see when you oppose um, the bigotry and oppression and intolerance that an ideology represents. When you oppose that, you're not hating the the that so if it's Christianity, you're not hating Christianity per se. You're opposing an oppressive ideology. A hate crime or hate speech is merely it's got to do with power as well. You've got when you're talking about a hate crime towards black people, you're talking about people who have suffered under a system of white supremacy for, they're enslaved, Jim Crow, all those kinds of things, continue to suffer uh, fallout from that oppressive system, which continues to oppress, and then people underneath that committing crimes against those people in the name of that oppressive ideology. That's a hate crime. Fighting back against an oppressive ideology is not a hate crime. That's fighting the power, yo. That's Rage Against the Machine shit. That's what that is. That's not a hate crime. You absolute fucking potato. I just this guy is anyway. So that's almost. I'm getting away with myself. But Mr. Ollie London upset about fighting back against fighting the machine. Now there was one more thing I wanted to look at real quick. No, I can't. Oh no, because it was in the photos. I can't show. Excuse me, I can't show the photos, unfortunately, because that's not work. Oh, but I could. Hold on, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yeah. If I go to my Reddit here we go, and then this guy. Oh, we're back home. Okay, I'm actually going to sign off because people are coming back home. So, thank you for tuning in. If you did, it was lovely to have you here. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. I hope that my ramblings about oppressive systems is something that you enjoy. Say goodbye to Rosie. That's Rosie's butt. Yes, she is. Oh, no, hold on. No, let's transition over here. We're going to transition. Say goodbye to Rosie. See? Bye, Rosie. This is the last time you'll see Rosie because I'm going back to Wellington soon. And Rosie won't be with me. So say goodbye. Touch the thing. Turn it off. You push the off button. You push the stop streaming button. Say bye-bye.